Imagine chasing a fleeting rush, a night of indulgence, an endless scroll through feeds, a purchase promising joy. The thrill fades, leaving you hollow, craving more. What if this pursuit of pleasure for its own sake is a trap, pulling you from true fulfillment? What if living with purpose, not chasing fleeting delights, is the path to a life of strength and clarity? This is the wisdom of Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai who, in 1645, crafted the Dokkodō, the way of walking alone. His second principle, do not seek pleasure for its own sake, urges you to rise above fleeting desires and anchor yourself in purpose. Today we unpack the second precept, tracing its samurai origins, linking it to your daily battles, and equipping you with tools to live it. By the end, you'll see pleasure not as an enemy but as a force to harness with discipline. Let's walk this path together. Miyamoto Musashi was a figure forged in fire. A masterless samurai, he carved his name into history by winning over 60 duels in feudal Japan's turbulent Sengoku and early Edo periods. Born around 1584, he grew up amid warlords' clashes, where survival demanded sharp instincts. As a young man, he embraced an ascetic life, sleeping under open skies, eating sparingly, and training relentlessly to master the sword. Beyond combat, he became a strategist, painter, and philosopher, distilling his insights in his final years. His Dokkodō, written as a guide for living with clarity, includes the second principle: do not seek pleasure for its own sake. For Musashi, chasing pleasure without purpose dulled the mind, like a blade neglected, weakening a warrior's resolve. In samurai culture rooted in Zen Buddhism and Bushido, discipline was the heartbeat of existence. Seeking pleasure for its own sake, endless feasting, idle pursuits, was a path to ruin. Musashi, who lived simply despite fame, understood that indulgence clouded judgment. In his Book of Five Rings, he writes, "In strategy, your spiritual bearing must not be any different from normal. Both in fighting and in everyday life, you should be determined though calm. Chasing pleasure disrupts this calm, pulling you from the present." Musashi found joy in purposeful acts, perfecting a sword stroke, crafting a minimalist ink painting, or strategizing a duel, not in fleeting highs. This principle aligns with Stoicism, offering timeless parallels. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, said, "If you seek truth, you will not seek to gain a victory by every means, and when you have found truth, you will have a good conscience." Chasing pleasure for its own sake distracts from virtue, the Stoic path to fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius, Rome's emperor amid wars and loss, wrote in his Meditations, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking." Musashi's discipline mirrors this. Pleasure is fleeting, but purpose endures. Musashi's life proves this. At 21, he faced Yoshioka Seijuro in Kyoto, leader of a renowned sword school. The duel could have been a chance for glory's thrill, but Musashi prepared with focus, studying his opponent's style, arriving early and striking decisively. He didn't chase the pleasure of fame, he sought mastery. Seneca, a Stoic facing Nero's tyranny, said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Musashi's victories came from discipline, not indulgence. Today's world tempts you with instant gratification, social media likes, streaming binges, fast food. These pleasures fade, leaving restlessness. Musashi and the Stoics offer a counterpath. Find joy in effort aligned with purpose. Zeno of Citium, Stoicism's founder, taught that happiness stems from living in harmony with nature, not chasing fleeting highs. Musashi's life, Spartan, dedicated, shows pleasure as a byproduct of discipline, not the goal. Consider his encounter with Muso Gonosuke, a staff master who sought Musashi to prove his skill. Gonosuke chased victory's thrill, but Musashi, grounded in purpose, defeated him with a single wooden sword, then spared his life, teaching that restraint outweighs indulgence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Seeking pleasure scatters focus. Purpose sharpens it. Zen's influence on Musashi, particularly Mushin, no mind, reinforces this. A mind chasing pleasure is cluttered, unable to flow like water. Musashi's calm in battle came from detaching from desires, staying present. Seneca said, "The mind that is anxious about the future is miserable." Pleasure-seeking pulls you from now. Discipline anchors you. Musashi's paintings, stark yet profound, reflected this, finding beauty in simplicity, not excess. This isn't about denying pleasure. Musashi enjoyed sake, art, and camaraderie, but never let them rule him. Epictetus taught, "It is the nature of the wise to resist pleasures, but the foolish to be a slave to them." Pleasure serves purpose, not the reverse. In our age of instant gratification, this principle is your shield, guiding you to clarity and strength. Now let's apply this to your life. Scrolling social media, chasing likes, feels good briefly, but breeds envy. Instead, focus on creating, writing, learning, connecting. Pleasure follows progress, not validation. At work, chasing quick wins, cutting corners, seeking praise leads to burnout. Align with purpose, hone skills, serve others. Joy emerges from effort. In relationships, seeking only romance's highs ignores deeper bonds. Accept flaws, build trust, find lasting fulfillment. Health is a key arena. Chasing comfort, junk food, skipping workouts feels good momentarily, but harms you. Musashi trained daily, accepting discomfort for mastery. Apply this, embrace exercise's grind, find joy and strength. Seneca said, "Life is long if you know how to use it." Purposeful effort extends meaning, not just years. In creativity, chasing trends for fame stalls growth. Musashi's art grew through discipline, not applause. Accept slow progress. Joy comes from creation. In parenting, seeking only proud moments misses guidance's work. Accept challenges. Find fulfillment in growth. In finance, chasing get-rich-quick schemes risks ruin. Accept steady growth. Invest wisely. Build wealth. Social pressures push hedonism, parties, trends, excess. Musashi stood apart, unswayed. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Accept external noise, focus inward. In education, chasing grades over learning breeds stress. Accept the process, find joy in knowledge. Global issues, climate change, inequality, tempt despair or escapism. Accept reality, act locally, recycle, volunteer, educate. In travel, delays frustrate. Accept them, use the time, read, reflect. In fitness, plateaus discourage. Accept them, adjust, grow stronger. Musashi's discipline mirrors this. Accept pain, achieve mastery. Here are practical steps to live Musashi's principle. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake, blending samurai resolve with Stoic clarity. These exercises, rooted in discipline, will help you shift from chasing fleeting pleasures to building a life of purpose. Start small, practice consistently, and watch your clarity and strength grow, transforming daily challenges into opportunities for mastery. Purpose-driven morning ritual. Begin each day with a 5-minute journal. Write down one goal that aligns with your deeper purpose, learning a new skill, helping a colleague, or improving your health. Ask, how does this serve my long-term growth? For example, if you're tempted to sleep in for comfort, write, run for 20 minutes to build resilience. This mirrors Musashi's daily sword practice, where he prioritized mastery over ease, aligning actions with purpose to sharpen focus. Pleasure gatekeeper. Pause. Before indulging in a pleasure, scrolling social media, grabbing a sugary snack, pause for 10 seconds. Ask, is this my goal or a distraction? If it's the latter, redirect to a purposeful action. Read a book, stretch, or draft an email. Epictetus urged resisting pleasures that enslave. This pause builds that discipline. For instance, swap 30 minutes of mindless scrolling for studying a course, turning fleeting urges into lasting progress. Desire sorting exercise. Every Sunday, spend 10 minutes listing 5 desires you felt that week. A new phone, a night out, binge watching a show. Divide them into two columns: serves my purpose and pure pleasure. Pursue only the first, limit the second. For example, buying a gadget might feel good but drain savings. Redirect funds to a course that advances your career. This echoes Musashi's choice to train over indulging, balancing joy with discipline. Effort to purpose reframe. When facing a tough task, writing a report, hitting the gym, write 3 ways it supports your purpose. A grueling workout. It builds strength, confidence, and health. This shifts focus from discomfort to meaning, as Musashi did when enduring harsh training for mastery. If a work project feels tedious, note: it hones skills, builds trust, advances my goals. Joy emerges from purposeful effort, not avoidance. Mindful desire. Observation. Dedicate 5 minutes daily to sit quietly and observe your cravings, food, attention, rest, without acting on them. Picture them as clouds passing in your mind, as Zen's Mushin teaches. For example, craving a late-night snack. Notice the urge, let it fade, and return to your goal, like Musashi staying calm before a duel. This builds presence, freeing you from pleasure's pull and grounding you in purpose. Distraction. Rejection practice. Rehearse saying no to distractions. Each day, identify one temptation, notifications, gossip, and say aloud, "This doesn't serve my path." Practice in front of a mirror for conviction. If a friend invites you to an unplanned party, decline politely to focus on a project. This mirrors Musashi's refusal of idle pursuits, strengthening resolve like a samurai preparing for battle. Pleasure boundary setting. Enjoy pleasures but set clear limits to align with purpose. Before a meal, decide, "I'll savor 1 serving, not 3. Or limit streaming to 1 episode, then work on a hobby. Musashi enjoyed sake but never let it derail his training. Seneca said, "No one is free who is a slave to his body." This boundary ensures pleasure enhances life, not controls it. Weekly purpose reflection. Each Sunday, spend 10 minutes reviewing your week. Ask, when did I chase pleasure over purpose? When did I choose discipline? Write down 1 win, say, choosing study over gaming, and 1 area to improve. Celebrate the win. Plan to adjust the miss, like studying 30 minutes before relaxing. Marcus Aurelius's nightly reflections inspired this, building discipline through honest self-assessment. Community purpose dialogue. Once a week, discuss purpose with a trusted friend or mentor. Share a moment you chose purpose over pleasure, skipping a shopping spree to save for a goal. Ask for their insights. This builds accountability like Stoic schools where philosophers debated virtue. Musashi walked alone but learned from others. Community sharpens your resolve to prioritize purpose. Future self anchor. Monthly, write a 200-word letter from your future self, 5 years ahead, describing how choosing purpose over pleasure shaped your life. Example: I skipped mindless scrolling, learned coding, and now lead a tech team. This vision, rooted in Musashi's long-term discipline, motivates you to act today, aligning choices with goals that endure beyond fleeting highs. Start with 1 step this week. Practice daily, and these habits will rewire your approach, turning distractions into opportunities. Musashi's discipline and Stoic wisdom show that purpose, not pleasure, forges a life of strength and clarity. If this resonated, hit that like button, subscribe for more dives into Stoic and Samurai wisdom, and comment below. What's one thing you're accepting today? Share your journey. We're in this together. Thanks for watching.